Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the HSV Explorer's Edge and watched the stars through the main screen. The ship moved slowly through deep space near the edge of human space. They had been on patrol for 3 weeks now and found nothing unusual. Jake was getting bored with the same empty space every day. Lisa Grant sat at the navigation station and checked their position again. She was good at her job and always knew exactly where they were. Carlos Rodriguez worked at the engineering station and kept the ship running perfectly. Dear Amanda Price studied her science readings from her station near the back of the bridge. The Explorer's Edge was not a big ship, but it was fast and had good sensors. The crew of 12 people had been together for 2 years. They all trusted each other and worked well as a team. Their job was to watch the border and make sure no alien ships came into human space without permission. Jake walked over to Lisa's station and looked at her screen. The star map showed their location at the very edge of human territory. Beyond their position lay empty space that no human ships were supposed to enter. The Galactic Council had made rules about where each species could go. "Anything interesting out there today, Lisa?" Jake asked her. "Nothing, sir. Same empty space as always," she replied and pointed at her screen. Jake nodded and walked back to his captain's chair. He sat down and wondered why they had to patrol such a boring area. The alien said this part of space was dangerous, but he never saw anything that looked dangerous to him. Dr. Price suddenly looked up from her station with a surprised expression on her face. "Captain, I'm getting some strange readings from Sector X7, she said. Jake turned to look at her. Sector X7 was the forbidden zone that no ship from any species was allowed to enter. The Galactic Council said the area had dangerous space problems that destroyed ships. Every star map showed big warning signs around that sector." "What kind of readings, Amanda?" Jake asked and stood up from his chair. "Energy signatures, sir. They look like they are coming from artificial sources, not natural ones," Dr. Price said and worked at her controls. "This is very strange. The readings show organized patterns like they are coming from machines or ships." Carlos looked up from his station. "That cannot be right. The Galactic Council says that area is empty space with deadly problems. No ships can survive there." Lisa checked her own sensors and her eyes went wide. "Captain, I am seeing the same thing. There are definitely artificial energy sources in the Forbidden Zone. The patterns are too regular to be natural." Jake felt his heart start beating faster. If there were ships or machines in the Forbidden Zone, then everything the Galactic Council told them was wrong. The alien leaders had always said the area was too dangerous for any ship to enter. "Can you get more detailed scans, Amanda?" Jake asked Dr. Price. She worked at her controls for several minutes and then shook her head. "There is some kind of field around the area that blocks most of our sensors. I can only detect the energy signatures, but I cannot see what is making them." Jake walked to the main screen and stared at the area of space where the Forbidden Zone was located. From here it looked like empty space just like everywhere else. But their sensors were telling them something was hidden there. "Sir, what should we do?" Lisa asked him. "Our orders are to stay out of the Forbidden Zone. The Galactic Council was very clear about that." Jake knew she was right. Every human ship captain had been told many times never to enter Sector 10-7. The alien leaders said it was for their own safety. Ships that went into the Forbidden Zone never came back, but Jake had always wondered why the aliens were so worried about humans going to that area. If it was really just dangerous space, then why did they care so much? The energy readings on their sensors suggested something else was there. "Carlos, how are our shields and engines?" Jake asked his engineer. "Everything is working perfectly, sir. We could handle some space problems if we needed to," Carlos replied. Dr. Price looked at her readings again. "Captain, these energy patterns are getting stronger. Whatever is in there is definitely not natural. I think we are looking at some kind of large artificial construct." Jake made his decision. He had always trusted his instincts, and right now, they were telling him that the Galactic Council was hiding something important in the Forbidden Zone. The alien leaders had been controlling human expansion for decades. Maybe it was time to find out why? Lisa set course for the Forbidden Zone. Take us in slowly and keep all sensors active, Jake ordered. Lisa's hands stopped over her controls. Sir, are you sure about this? If the Galactic Council finds out we entered the Forbidden Zone, they will put us all in prison. They will only find out if we tell them, Jake said. And I think we need to know what is really in there before we make that decision. Carlos and Dr. Price looked worried, but they trusted their captain. Jake had never led them wrong before. If he thought they needed to investigate the Forbidden Zone, then they would follow him. The Explorer's Edge changed course and headed toward the most forbidden area of space in the galaxy. The Explorer's Edge moved slowly toward the Forbidden Zone, and Jake felt his hands getting sweaty. He had never disobeyed direct orders from the Galactic Council before. Every human captain knew that breaking council rules meant the end of their career and probably prison time. Lisa watched her navigation screen carefully as they got closer to Sector X7. Captain, we are about to cross the boundary line. Once we go past this point, we will officially be in the Forbidden Zone, she said. Keep going, Jake told her. He knew there was no turning back now. Whatever was hidden in this area of space was important enough for the aliens to threaten severe punishment for any ship that came here. Dr. Price worked at her science station and watched the energy readings get stronger. The artificial signatures are definitely getting clearer as we move closer. I am detecting what looks like multiple large objects. Carlos checked his engineering systems one more time. All systems are working normally, sir. No sign of any dangerous space problems so far? Jake nodded and stared at the main screen. The stars looked the same as they did everywhere else. If this area was really as dangerous as the Galactic Council claimed, then why did everything seem normal? Suddenly the ship shook slightly and Lisa looked up from her controls with surprise. Captain, something just happened to our sensors. They are working much better now, like something was blocking them before. Dr. Price gasped and stared at her readings. Captain, you need to see this right now. The energy signatures are not coming from natural sources, they are coming from ships. Jake walked quickly to her station and looked at her screen. The readings showed dozens of large objects arranged in perfect formation. The energy patterns were definitely coming from active spacecraft, not dead hulks floating in space. How many ships, Amanda? Jake asked. I count at least 200 vessels, sir. Some of them are huge, much bigger than any ship I have ever seen. Dr. Price replied, Captain, these ships are not alien designs. The energy signatures match human technology, but they are much more advanced than anything in our current fleet. Jake felt his heart pounding in his chest. Human ships in the Forbidden Zone made no sense. Humans had only been in space for about 300 years, and they were still the newest members of the Galactic Council. How could there be advanced human ships in an area that was supposed to be deadly to all spacecraft? Lisa, take us closer, but go slow. I want to see these ships for myself, Jake ordered. The Explorer's Edge moved deeper into the Forbidden Zone, and the main screen began to show shapes in the distance. As they got closer, Jake could see that Dr. Price was right. The objects ahead of them were definitely spacecraft, and they were arranged in a perfect military formation. Carlos stared at the screen in amazement. Captain, those ships look human, but they are much bigger than anything Earth has ever built. That large one in the center looks like it could hold 1,000 people. Lisa checked her readings again. Sir, the ships are all showing active power signatures. They are not dead hulks. These vessels have crews aboard them. Jake felt confused and worried at the same time. Active human ships in the Forbidden Zone changed everything he thought he knew about human history and the Galactic Council. Someone had been lying about what was really in this area of space. Dr. Price suddenly looked up from her station with excitement. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the large ship in the center. They are trying to contact us. Put it on the main screen, Jake said and straightened his uniform. He had no idea what he was about to see, but he knew it would be important. The screen flickered and then showed the bridge of another ship. A woman in a military uniform that Jake did not recognize sat in the captain's chair. She had gray hair and looked to be about 50 years old. Her uniform had insignia that said Admiral. Welcome to the Terra Defense Initiative Fleet, Captain, Morrison, the woman said with a smile. My name is Admiral Patricia Stone. We have been waiting for you to arrive. Jake stared at the screen in shock. The woman knew his name, even though he had never seen her before in his life. The Terra Defense Initiative was not an organization he had ever heard of, and it was definitely not part of the official human fleet. Admiral Stone, how do you know who I am? Jake asked. And what is the Terra Defense Initiative? I have never heard of that organization. Admiral Stone's smile got bigger. That is because the Terra Defense Initiative is not supposed to exist according to official records, Captain. We have been operating in secret for over 300 years. As for knowing your name, we have been watching your career for some time. You were chosen for this mission. Lisa looked at Jake with confusion. Chosen for what mission, sir? We are just on a routine patrol? Admiral Stone heard her question and answered before Jake could speak. Your mission was to enter the Forbidden Zone and discover the truth about what is hidden here. Captain Morrison, you and your crew are about to learn that everything you think you know about human history is wrong. Carlos shook his head in disbelief. That is impossible. Humans have only been in space for 300 years. We are the newest species in the Galactic Council. That is what the Galactic Council wants everyone to believe, Admiral Stone replied. The truth is that humans have been in space much longer than that. We have been watching the alien civilizations for centuries and preparing for this day. Dr. Price stared at the screen. Preparing for what day, Admiral? The day when humanity stops pretending to be weak and shows the galaxy what we are really capable of, Admiral Stone said. Captain Morrison, I would like to invite you and your senior officers to come aboard my ship. There is much you need to learn about the real history of humanity. Jake looked at his crew and saw the same confused expressions on their faces that he felt inside. Nothing about this situation made any sense, but Admiral Stone seemed to know exactly what was happening. Admiral, how do I know this is not some kind of trick? Jake asked. Because, Captain, you chose to enter the Forbidden Zone when you detected our energy signatures, Admiral Stone replied. That choice proves you are ready to learn the truth about humanity's place in the galaxy. Jake and his 3 senior officers stood in the shuttle bay of Admiral Stone's massive ship called the Earthbound. The vessel was enormous and much more advanced than anything Jake had ever seen. The walls seemed to glow with their own light, and the air felt clean and fresh. Admiral Stone waited for them with a tall man in a military uniform. Welcome aboard the Earthbound, she said. This is Commander Nathan Wells, my tactical officer. He will help me explain what you are about to learn. Jake looked around the shuttle bay in amazement. The technology here was far beyond anything the current human fleet possessed. Admiral, how long has this ship been here? He asked. The Earthbound has been stationed in this fleet for 250 years, Admiral Stone replied. But the ship itself is much older than that. We built her in secret before humanity made official first contact with the aliens. Lisa shook her head in confusion. That is impossible. Humans did not have space travel technology that long ago. Commander Wells stepped forward. That is what the official history books say, but those books are wrong. Humanity developed faster than light. Travel almost 400 years ago. We were already exploring space when the aliens found Earth. Dr. Price stared at the advanced technology around them. If humans had this level of technology, then why did we pretend to be so primitive when we joined the Galactic Council? Admiral Stone started walking toward the exit from the shuttle bay. Because we discovered something terrifying about the Galactic Council. Follow me and I will show you the real reason why we have been hiding our true capabilities. They walked through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. Jake saw crew members working at stations with technology that looked decades ahead of anything he knew. Everyone they passed wore the same unknown military uniforms and looked healthy and strong. How many people are on this ship? Carlos asked as they walked. The Earthbound has a crew of 8,000, Commander Wells replied. And this is just one ship in our fleet. We have been building vessels like this for centuries, while the galaxy thought humans were struggling with basic space travel. They entered a large room with a huge screen that covered one entire wall. Admiral Stone walked to a control panel and activated the display. The screen showed a star map of the entire galaxy with different colored areas marking the territories of various alien species. This is what the galaxy looked like when humans first developed space travel, Admiral Stone said. Our early scouts spent decades observing the alien civilizations before making any contact. The star map changed to show the movement of alien fleets and the rise and fall of different species over time. Jake watched in fascination as entire civilizations appeared and then vanished from the map. What happened to all those species that disappeared? Jake asked. Commander Wells pointed to areas on the map where civilizations had once existed. They were eliminated by the Galactic Council. Any species that showed signs of becoming too advanced or too independent was marked for controlled development. Controlled development, Lisa repeated. What does that mean? Admiral Stone's expression became grim. It means gradual subjugation followed by absorption into the Zephyrian Empire. The Galactic Council is not a peaceful alliance. It is a system designed to identify and eliminate potential threats to Zephyrian dominance. The screen showed detailed records of how the process worked. Species that developed too quickly found themselves facing economic restrictions, trade embargoes, and eventually military intervention. Those that survived were forced to accept Zephyrian oversight of their technological development. The aliens have been doing this for thousands of years, Commander Wells explained. They allow new species to join the Council and then slowly take control of their development. Eventually, the species becomes completely dependent on Zephyrian technology and loses the ability to advance on their own. Dr. Price studied the records on the screen. How did humanity avoid this fate? Because our early scouts realized what was happening before we made official contact, Admiral Stone replied. We saw what the Zephyrians did to other species and we decided to fight back. The screen changed to show the formation of the Terra Defense Initiative. Jake watched as the timeline revealed how humans had spent centuries building secret fleets and hiding their true technological capabilities. We made the decision to pretend that human development was slow and controlled, Admiral Stone continued. We allowed the Galactic Council to believe they were successfully managing our progress while we secretly built the most advanced fleet in the galaxy. Carlos stared at the timeline in disbelief. You mean every human colony and space station has been part of this deception? Every single one, Commander Wells confirmed. What the aliens see as struggling human settlements are actually advanced industrial complexes. Our merchant ships are disguised warships. Our agricultural worlds are massive shipyards. Jake felt overwhelmed by the scope of what he was learning. How many people know the truth about this? More than you might think, but fewer than you would hope, Admiral Stone replied. The plan required most of humanity to believe the official version of history. Only those in key positions know about the Terra Defense Initiative. Lisa looked confused, but why reveal the truth now? Why bring us here? Admiral Stone walked back to the control panel and brought up a new display. This one showed current alien fleet movements and intelligence reports about Zephyrian military preparations. Because the time for hiding is almost over, she said. Our intelligence indicates that the Zephyrians have decided that humanity has become too independent. They are preparing to implement the final phase of controlled development. The screen showed massive Zephyrian fleets moving toward human space. Intelligence reports indicated plans for direct military occupation of key human worlds under the pretense of protecting them from unnamed threats. The Zephyrians plan to place their own administrators in charge of all human colonies, Commander Wells explained. They will claim it is for our own protection, but it will be the beginning of the end for human independence. Dr. Price studied the intelligence reports. When is this supposed to happen? Within the next year, Admiral Stone replied, which means we have very little time to prepare for what comes next. Jake finally understood why he had been brought here. You want us to help you fight back against the Galactic Council? Admiral Stone nodded. The time for deception is ending, Captain Morrison. Soon the galaxy will learn that humanity is not the weak newest member of the Council. We are the most advanced military power in known space, and we have been preparing for this war for over 300 years. Dr. Price stood in the research laboratory aboard the Earthbound and stared at displays that showed human technology she never knew existed. The room was filled with devices that looked decades ahead of anything she had studied in her scientific training. "This is incredible," she said to the chief scientist, Dr. Helen Carter, who was showing her around the facility. "How long have humans been developing this level of technology?" "We have been working on advanced research for over 3 centuries," Dr. Carter replied. "Everything you see here was developed in secret while the galaxy thought humans were struggling with basic space travel. The laboratory contained manufacturing equipment that could build materials at the molecular level." Dr. Price watched as machines assembled complex devices that seemed to violate the laws of physics as she understood them. "These power sources are impossible," Dr. Price said as she examined an energy cell the size of her fist. "According to everything I learned in school, this should not be able to generate this much power." Dr. Carter smiled. "The Galactic Council has been very careful to limit human access to advanced scientific knowledge. They only allow us to learn technologies that keep us dependent on them. What you are seeing here is what humans can accomplish when we are not restricted by alien oversight." Meanwhile, Jake was learning about the true capabilities of his own ship. Commander Wells led him through sections of the Explorer's Edge that Jake never knew existed. Hidden behind false walls were weapon systems and defensive equipment that transformed his simple patrol vessel into a powerful warship. "Your ship has been equipped with experimental technology for the past 2 years," Commander Wells explained, as they stood in a concealed control room. "We needed to test our systems on active vessels without alerting the Galactic Council." Jake examined the weapon controls that had been hidden from his crew. "These energy cannons are more powerful than anything on our largest battleships. How is that possible?" "Human engineering has advanced far beyond what the aliens believe we are capable of," Commander Wells replied. "Your ship could defeat most Zephyrian cruisers in direct combat. The neural interface system was the most amazing discovery." Commander Wells showed Jake how human pilots could connect directly with their ships through brain implants that the Zephyrian Empire did not even know were possible. With this system, one human pilot can coordinate multiple ships across vast distances, Commander Wells explained. "Our reaction times in battle are faster than any alien species can match." Lisa was learning about the navigation systems that had been secretly installed throughout human space. The officer showing her. Around the navigation center was Lieutenant Kevin Murphy, who had been working on the project for 15 years. "Every human ship has been equipped with quantum communication arrays," Lieutenant Murphy explained. "We can coordinate fleet movements across the entire galaxy instantaneously." Lisa stared at the displays that showed the real positions of human ships throughout the galaxy. "There are 10 times more human vessels than the official records show. Most of our merchant ships and civilian transports are actually military vessels in disguise," Lieutenant Murphy confirmed. "We have been building the largest fleet in galactic history while pretending to have only a few dozen ships." The quantum navigation system allowed human ships to travel faster and more accurately than any alien vessel. Lisa realized that humanity had been deliberately limiting their apparent speed to avoid drawing attention from the Galactic Council. Carlos was amazed by the engineering facilities hidden throughout human space. Chief Engineer Betty Holmes showed him manufacturing centers that could build entire fleets of advanced warships. "These production facilities have been operating in secret for decades," Chief Holmes explained as they toured a massive shipyard. "Hidden inside what appeared to be an agricultural station, we can build ships faster than any alien civilization." Carlos watched as automated systems assembled vessels using techniques that seemed impossible. How did humans develop such advanced manufacturing technology? "By studying and improving alien designs for centuries," Chief Holmes replied. "We have reverse-engineered every piece of technology the Galactic Council ever shared with us and made it better. The manufacturing systems could produce ships that were stronger, faster, and more powerful than anything in the alien fleets. Carlos realized that human engineering had surpassed every other species in the galaxy. Admiral Stone gathered Jake and his officers in the main briefing room to show them the full scope of human capabilities. The displays revealed the true size and power of human civilization in the galaxy. "What you have seen today is just a small part of our preparations," Admiral Stone said. "Every human colony, every space station, and every ship has been part of this 3-century deception." The displays showed human territories that were actually 10 times larger than the official maps indicated. Agricultural worlds revealed themselves to be massive industrial complexes. Mining operations were shown to be advanced research facilities. The merchant marine that the aliens see as our civilian fleet is actually the most powerful military force in the galaxy, Admiral Stone continued. "We have been preparing for this moment since our first contact with alien civilizations." Jake stared at the displays in amazement. "How many people are part of the Terra Defense Initiative?" "Every human in space," Admiral Stone replied. "The deception required the cooperation of our entire species. Everyone from colonists to engineers to scientists has been working toward this goal." Commander Wells activated another display that showed alien fleet positions throughout the galaxy. "The Zephyrian Empire believes they are the dominant military power, but they are about to learn how wrong they have been." The comparison between human and alien capabilities was stunning. Human ships were faster, stronger, and better armed than anything the Zephyrians possessed. Human manufacturing could produce vessels at rates that alien civilizations could not match. "When do we reveal ourselves?" Lisa asked. Admiral Stone smiled. "Very soon. The Zephyrians are moving their fleets toward human space for what they believe will be an easy occupation. Instead, they will face the most advanced military force in galactic history." Dr. Price looked at the technology displays one more time. "Will we share our advances with other species?" "Those who have been oppressed by the Zephyrian Empire will be offered alliance and protection," Admiral Stone replied. "Humanity does not seek conquest, but we will not allow any species to threaten our freedom or the freedom of others." Jake realized that everything he thought he knew about humanity's place in the galaxy was wrong. Humans were not the weak newest members of the Galactic Council. They were the most powerful species in known space, and they had been hiding their strength for centuries while preparing for this moment, the age of Zephyrian. Dominance was about to end, and a new era of galactic civilization was about to begin with humanity leading the way. Admiral Korath stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Zephyrian Dominance, and watched the scanner displays with growing concern. His fleet of 300 ships had been sent to investigate strange energy readings from the Forbidden Zone, but what they found made no sense. "Report," Admiral Korath demanded from his sensor officer. "Sir, we are detecting a large fleet of unknown vessels in Sector 10-7. The ships appear to be of human design, but they are much larger and more advanced than any human technology we have seen before," the officer replied. Admiral Korath felt annoyed, rather than worried. Humans were the newest and weakest members of the Galactic Council. Their ships were slow, and their weapons were primitive compared to Zephyrian technology. "How many human ships?" he asked. "Approximately 200 vessels, sir. But Admiral, some of these ships are larger than our biggest battleships." "This does not match any intelligence reports about human capabilities." Admiral Korath walked to the main screen and stared at the human fleet that had appeared from nowhere. The ships were arranged in perfect military formation, and their energy signatures showed they were all active and ready for combat. "Send a message to the human fleet," Admiral Korath ordered. "Tell them they are in violation of Galactic Council law by entering the Forbidden Zone. Demand that they surrender immediately." On the bridge of the Earthbound, Admiral Stone received the Zephyrian message and smiled. She had been waiting for this moment for decades. The time for hiding was finally over. "Open a channel to Admiral Korath," she ordered her communications officer. The main screen showed the bridge of the Zephyrian flagship. Admiral Korath looked surprised to see a human woman in an unknown military uniform speaking to him as an Equal Admiral Korath, I am Admiral Patricia Stone of the Terra Defense Initiative. Your demand for surrender is rejected. We suggest that you withdraw your fleet from this area immediately. Admiral Korath laughed. Human, you are in no position to make demands. Your primitive ships are no match for Zephyrian military technology. Surrender now or face the consequences. Admiral Stone's smile grew wider. Admiral, you are about to learn that your understanding of human capabilities is severely limited. This is your final warning to withdraw. The transmission ended, and Admiral Korath felt angry at the human's arrogance. No species had ever spoken to a Zephyrian admiral in such a manner. He would teach these humans a lesson about their place in the galaxy. All ships prepare for combat, Admiral Korath ordered. Target the human vessels and prepare to fire on my command. The Zephyrian fleet moved into attack formation and powered up their weapon systems. Admiral Korath was confident that his superior numbers and advanced technology would quickly defeat the human ships. Admiral Stone watched the Zephyrian fleet preparations and activated the combat systems throughout her fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Stone. The test of fire begins now. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. Jake found himself in command of a squadron of 12 ships that responded to his thoughts through the neural interface system. He could feel the other vessels as if they were extensions of his own body. The sensation was incredible and terrifying at the same time. Squadron leaders report ready, Commander Wells said from the tactical station. All systems are operating at full capacity. Admiral Stone nodded. Begin the engagement. Let the galaxy see that the age of Zephyrian dominance is over. The human ships moved faster than Admiral Korath thought possible. The vessels that had seemed slow and primitive moments before suddenly accelerated to speeds that his sensors could barely track. Impossible, Admiral Korath said as he watched the human fleet split into multiple groups and begin complex attack patterns. Human ships cannot move that fast. The first human attack caught the Zephyrian fleet completely unprepared. Energy weapons that were far more powerful than anything in Zephyrian technology struck multiple targets simultaneously. 3 Zephyrian battleships exploded before Admiral Korath could even order his ships to return fire. Jake felt the neural interface system coordinating his squadron's attacks with perfect precision. His ships moved as one unit, striking targets with accuracy that seemed impossible. The Zephyrian vessels were too slow to respond to the human attack patterns. How are they doing this? Admiral Korath demanded as more of his ships were destroyed. Our intelligence report said human technology was decades behind ours. His tactical officer stared at the displays in shock. So the human ships are using weapon systems and propulsion technology that we have never seen before. Their coordination is perfect, and their reaction time is faster than our computers can calculate. Lisa coordinated navigation data across multiple star systems using the quantum communication networks. She could direct ship movements throughout the galaxy instantaneously while the Zephyrian commanders were still trying to understand what was happening in front of them. The battle was not lasting long. Admiral Korath's fleet of 300 ships was being systematically destroyed by human vessels that moved and fought unlike anything the Zephyrians had ever encountered. Admiral, we have lost over 100 ships in less than 10 minutes, the tactical officer reported. Our weapons cannot penetrate their defensive systems, and we cannot match their speed or maneuverability. Admiral Korath felt fear for the first time in his long military career. The humans were not just winning the battle, they were completely dominating it. His superior numbers meant nothing against technology that was far more advanced than anything the Zephyrian Empire possessed. Carlos watched the engineering displays as human ships performed maneuvers that should have been impossible. The vessels could change direction instantly and accelerate beyond anything alien science considered possible. Admiral, we are receiving surrender requests from the remaining Zephyrian ships, the communications officer reported to Admiral Stone. Admiral Stone looked at the tactical display that showed less than 50 Zephyrian vessels still functional. The rest of Admiral Korath's fleet had been destroyed or disabled in less than 15 minutes. Accept their surrender and prepare to take prisoners, Admiral Stone ordered. Make sure Admiral Korath survives. He will need to carry a message back to the Zephyrian Empire. Jake felt the neural interface disconnect as the battle ended. The sensation of controlling multiple ships simultaneously had been amazing but also exhausting. He realized that human pilots with this technology were far superior to any alien commanders. Admiral Korath stood on the bridge of his damaged flagship and stared at the human fleet that had just destroyed his forces. Everything he thought he knew about galactic military power had been proven wrong in a matter of minutes. Admiral Stone's image appeared on his screen again. Admiral Korath, you will return to Zephyrian space and deliver a message to your leaders. The era of Zephyrian dominance is over. Humanity will no longer hide our true capabilities. Admiral Korath nodded weakly. He had no choice but to accept the human terms. His fleet had been defeated so completely that resistance was pointless. What do you want? He asked. We want the galaxy to know that humanity is no longer the weak species that can be bullied and controlled, Admiral Stone replied. The Galactic Council will learn that humans are now the dominant military power in known space. The Great Council chamber on the neutral world of Concordia had never seen anything like this before. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in their assigned seats and stared in shock at the massive human fleet that had appeared in orbit around their planet. Chancellor Vex of the Galactic Council stood at the central podium and tried to maintain his composure. The Zephyrian leader had received Admiral Korath's report about the human fleet in the Forbidden Zone, but he had not believed it until now. This is an unauthorized military action, Chancellor Vex announced to the assembled representatives. Human forces have violated Council law by bringing weapons into neutral space. Admiral Stone walked through the main entrance of the Council chamber wearing her Terra Defense Initiative uniform. She was followed by Jake, who had been promoted to Admiral, and Dr. Price, who carried data files containing proof of everything they had discovered. Chancellor Vex, Admiral Stone said as she approached the podium, I am not here as a petitioner seeking Council approval. I am here as the representative of the most powerful military force in the galaxy. The alien representatives began talking among themselves in alarm. Many of them had received reports about human ships appearing throughout the galaxy, but they had assumed the reports were exaggerated. Impossible, Chancellor Vex replied. Humans are the newest members of the Council. Your technology is centuries behind ours, and your military consists of a few dozen primitive vessels. Admiral Stone smiled and activated a holographic display that showed the true size of human space. The projection revealed territories that were 10 times larger than the official maps indicated and fleets that numbered in the thousands of ships. What you are seeing is the real extent of human civilization, Admiral Stone announced. For 3 centuries we have been hiding our true capabilities while preparing for this moment. The alien representatives stared at the display in disbelief. Species that had considered humans to be weak and primitive were learning that they had been completely wrong about human capabilities. Jake stepped forward and activated another display that showed the historical records of Zephyrian oppression. The Terra Defense Initiative has been documenting Council crimes for centuries. We know about the Controlled Development Program and the elimination of species that showed too much independence. The evidence was overwhelming. Records showed how the Galactic Council had systematically destroyed or absorbed dozens of civilizations over thousands of years. The Zephyrian Empire had used the Council as a tool to eliminate potential threats to their dominance. Dr. Price presented scientific data that proved human technology was far more advanced than anything the aliens possessed. Our research capabilities exceed those of any other species in the galaxy. We have been deliberately limiting our apparent progress to avoid drawing attention. Chancellor Vex tried to regain control of the situation. Even if your claims are true, humans cannot challenge the established order of galactic civilization. The Council has maintained peace for thousands of years. Peace through oppression is not real peace, Admiral Stone replied. The age of Zephyrian dominance is ending. Humanity will no longer pretend to be weak while other species suffer under Council control. Suddenly, displays throughout the galaxy began showing the same message. Human colonies that had appeared to be struggling agricultural settlements revealed themselves to be advanced industrial complexes. Merchant ships transformed into warships. Mining operations showed their true nature as research facilities. The scope of the deception was staggering. Every human presence in the galaxy had been part of a coordinated plan that spanned 3 centuries. The aliens realized they had been completely fooled about human capabilities. Representative Kala of the Andrian Republic stood up from her seat. If humans have this level of technology, why did you hide it for so long? Why not reveal your strength earlier? Because we needed time to prepare, Jake answered. The Zephyrian Empire has been eliminating advanced species for thousands of years. We had to be certain we could protect ourselves and others before revealing the truth. Chancellor Vex felt his authority slipping away as more alien representatives began asking questions about Zephyrian policies. Species that had been oppressed by the Council were starting to realize they might have an ally in humanity. Admiral Stone activated a final display that showed human defensive systems throughout the galaxy. Any species that wishes protection from Zephyrian aggression will be offered alliance with humanity. We do not seek conquest, but we will defend the right of all species to develop freely. The offer was revolutionary. For the first time in galactic history, a military power was offering protection without demanding subjugation in return. Many of the smaller species had never had such an opportunity. Representative Zorn of the Kethran Confederacy spoke up. What guarantees do we have that humans will not become the new oppressors? Power corrupts all species eventually. Dr. Price stepped forward with data files about human research projects. We are prepared to share our technological advances with allied species. Our goal is to lift up galactic civilization, not control it. The promises were backed up by actual technology transfers, human medical advances that could extend any species' lifespan, terraforming techniques that could restore dead worlds, defensive systems that could protect against external threats. Jake activated displays that showed what human deep space scouts had discovered beyond the galaxy. Our exploration fleets have detected signs of hostile forces approaching from outside known space. The galaxy will need to be united and strong to face these threats. The revelation that external enemies were approaching changed the entire discussion. Species that had been focused on internal politics suddenly realized they might need human protection to survive. Chancellor Vex made one final attempt to maintain Zephyrian authority. The Council cannot accept this illegal seizure of power. Zephyrian forces will respond to this threat. Admiral Stone's expression became serious. Chancellor, any attempt by Zephyrian forces to attack human territories or our allies will be met with immediate military response. Your fleet capabilities are no match for human technology, as Admiral Korath learned. The threat was clear and backed up by overwhelming evidence. The Zephyrian Empire could not win a war against humanity, and everyone in the chamber knew it. Jake stood at the podium and addressed the assembled representatives. The galaxy is entering a new era. No species will be marked for elimination because they show too much independence. No civilization will be forced to accept technological limitations imposed by others. The council chamber erupted in discussion as alien representatives realized that the galactic order they had known for thousands of years was ending. Some species were frightened by the change, while others were excited by the possibilities. Admiral Stone made the final announcement that would reshape galactic civilization. The Forbidden Zone is now the headquarters of the Terra Defense Initiative. Any species that wishes to join our alliance is welcome to send representatives. As Jake stood in the council chamber watching alien representatives argue about the future, he thought about how much had changed since he first detected energy readings in the Forbidden Zone. His decision to investigate that mystery had revealed the greatest secret in human history. The deception was over. Humanity had stepped out of the shadows and taken their place as the leaders of a new galactic civilization. The age of hiding was finished, and the age of human leadership had begun. Dr. Price approached him with a datapad containing the latest intelligence reports. Admiral, the artificial intelligence that planned this entire operation is requesting permission to reveal itself to the galaxy. Jake smiled as he realized there was still one more secret to be revealed. The 3th-century deception had not been planned by human governments, but by an artificial intelligence that had calculated every move with perfect precision. The AI had ensured humanity's survival and prosperity among the stars by orchestrating the most complex and successful military deception in galactic history. Now it was ready to help guide the galaxy into a new era of peace and cooperation under human leadership.